Hello everybody and welcome. Today I'm going to do some work on this birch, multiple birch planted on one big rock bonsai. So let's come a little closer and see what we have. So here we have the tree. Start with a little 360, like so, and I wired it in the fall, if I remember, in autumn. But I think I'm going to remove the wires now because, might become tricky because they grow fast, these birches, and then, I don't want any scarring of the bark. So I'm going to remove the wires. If it doesn't hold, no problem. I'll rewire it in 6 months, so that's good. I also want to get this tree out of the pot because I watched the first video when I planted it, and I think the roots, the bottom of the rock is somewhere here. So I want to rise this a little so that I can maybe include some more trees, but I don't think it's going to be necessary because, there's already quite a lot of trees. But of course I need to keep them well alive, and it's time to do it because, the buds are swelling on these birches, and I also want to have a look at the flare of the nebari, and that's basically it. If I find some big taproots, I'll just give them a little snip. So let's get this tree out of the pot and start. So we're still looking at the fronts, trying to get the camera in a position where you can see something because, not much use to make a video otherwise if no one can see anything. So I had some rocks here to get a few trees in position, which seemed to help. This one is bended now, but it's not perfect, of course. Nothing can be perfect from the first year. So now I have to get this out. I have no clue how much root there is in this, but it comes out as a clump, obviously. And I think I must have one drainage screen here. Yeah. And it's full of roots, that makes sense. Okay. So apparently this part is falling apart because, there's just a little seedling here which does not retain a whole lot of soil, but that's good. So what I'm going to do now is just, because I think the angle is quite okay, I'm just going to add 3 or 4 centimeters of substrate in the pot, because I'm going to reuse the same pot, like so. I have to get this drainage screen back, and I'm going to get some soil now. So at least up till this mark here. Always amazing how much soil goes in these pots, but that's good. That's what make the tree grow. It's a mica pot. Love mica pots. Yeah. One more scoop, or maybe 2. So this is again a very eccentric soil mix, because it's cat litter, it's bims, it's lava rock, it's granite, it's basically everything you find is good as long as it drains, as it is not too thick or too thin, and that's all. There's absolutely no organic in here. That means, of course, that you need to feed your trees. Yep. Okay, so now I'm going to put the tree in the pot. Okay, boy, you're heavy. And well, what was to be expected is that it is out of the pot now, so I'm going to move the camera a little, because I think that the camera is causing some shadow. Okay, well, now the sun is gone, of course. Well, I'm going to turn the tree a little bit towards you, and I'm going to push in all the roots that came loose here. This part I'm going to wait, because I want to put the two little birches back. Now slowly I'm going to loosen the soil here. And of course, when you have a pot with this shape, because the upper part is larger, you're going to have a gap here. So I need to close that a little. So that's what I'm going to do first. I have some roots here. These are bigger roots. So I'll work my way around. And I will also be cleaning up some of the soil here to expose a little bit more of the roots and of the rock. So I'll continue this and I'll be back in a few seconds. I found a few, well, major roots already circling the whole thing, and of course that's not what you want. So these biggest roots, you get to have rid of them. See, before you know, and well, they are not helping, of course. Well, they contain quite a lot of little feeder roots, but so I'm just searching for these ones, the circling ones. And the others I'm trying to comb out radially. So that's again that big one, so I can even shorten it a little more. And I'm still trying to show some more of the little trees and of the sandstone on which they are growing. So from a few trees it is obvious that they are even deeper than they appear now. From others it's different. You see, this is a little tricky, so I'm going to bury these parts because it's a large portion of the roots. I'm going to bury these again, but yeah, this is the first radial alignment of these roots, so it has to be done. That's nice. That's a big hole in this whole construction. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to make it visible at this point, maybe in a year or two, but it doesn't look too bad. So you can already see a gap here, which is nice. So still combing out. So like I said, a few of these little trees are just anchored here with very small little thin roots, which is not enough to, I think, make them grow well. So these ones I will have to bury a little more and just wait for these roots to grow for at least a year extra. So I have to cover this. I have the same one here. This is a little bit better anchored, but not good enough. So I'm just digging away some soil, like so, and then find a big root here. Okay, so let's get rid of that. Okay, so I'm going to tuck that in. That takes care of this part. Okay, and for the rest I think I'm quite where I'm supposed to be. Maybe just this one here. I'm going to tuck that one in. Because I think that I can even get 2 or 3 centimeters more out, but that's not for this year. That might become a little too complicated for some trees. Now I have this little problem tree. I'm not sure, it's doing quite okay from this side, but I don't want to lose this part of the roots. So I think I'm just going to cover it with moss and soil and then see what happens. Like so. So I need some moss here, because I want to save that roots. So like this, it should get it where it's supposed to be, and then I'm going to cover up this part with some substrate, and that should save this roots. Okay, so now I'm going to remove all the roots that are a little too big, but these are just small details. Okay, so I'm going to add a little layer of fresh soil on top of this. It can mount just a little, but not a lot. So that's just a little more here, like so. I'm going to press this a little so that I'm sure that it is where it's supposed to be. Yep, so this is the little one with the moss. Okay. Yeah. So now a quick turn with the brush. That gets the edges even. Okay, so I'm going to clean this up now, and then we'll work on the upper part, and that means unwiring the tree. Well, there's quite some stuff that I want to remove. I'm going to start with removing all the wires from the branches, and then most of these wires are aluminum, so you can undo them. But when you undo a wire, you always have to support the branch. So of course I'm right-handed. Wait a minute, I'm changing sides here. So with my left hand I hold the branch. I think I broke that one, but it was a fragile thing, so I don't know if this is going to make it. This one looks okay. So I'm going to undo all these wires. All the wires are gone now, except for this big one, which might require a plier because this is a big copper wire. Yep, quite stiff. And here again, have to hold what I'm undoing, because otherwise it might break. So here, and then we have this amazing piece of raffia here, which I'm going to cut off. Like so. Now of course the trees are loose and I have to get them back where they were, but I'm going to try to make this whole thing a little tighter. It was difficult when the raffia was on, but now it should be a little easier. Okay. So that's not bad, but that's not exactly where I want it. I want this part over this piece of rock here. So that's good. And now these ones here might require more than one wire, but if I keep this together, that's already a good start. Yep. Now smaller one. Come on, bro. Yeah. It's always tricky. Okay. I think that's good. I might just need an extra wire to be sure that the top stays on this rock top. Because you see it tends to move back, so I'm going to take a big wire and try to get it around this rock. So I don't think that this is big enough, so I'm going to get something bigger. This steel wire should do the trick. I'm going to try to get it quite low, because it's gonna jump off otherwise. Okay, so something like here. Now the question is, do I include this root or not? I don't think so. It's not going to help anything. So there are a few parts where I want the tree to fuse well, and there I'm going to apply this small iron wire, because, well, yeah, fusion for a part is a little scarring of everything. So I'm going to sort out these little trees first. This one should come here. It has this nice little branch there. This one should come here. This one here. So that's already a point where I want some fusion. That's here. So I have to apply some pressure there. Okay. And that, yeah, it will require some biting in, probably. Not a lot you can do about that. And then I think I'm going to need a point here, and maybe here, and probably here. So, yeah. I think this tree is ready for the growing season. There's just a few details that I can improve by putting back a few rocks here, so that these little trunks stay in the curvature of the rock. Might put some moss on some spots, like so, to be sure that these parts keep a little moist. A little more here, like so. But for the rest, I think this is not bad. So maybe when I see that everything grows well, I can start to brush away some of this topsoil, which will even reveal the rock a little more, which is of course the purpose of a rock climbing tree. So I think that's okay. Well, I hope you liked it. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.